Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay. Well, let's pull up links first, shall we? Internal server error. YouTube, get your stuff together. Oh no. Oh, that's really interesting. Look at that. Oh, it just really doesn't like me. Let's see if I can get to it from another way. Okay. My channel. Let's try that. Aha. Aha. Maybe I don't need to share the link anymore. You're already a bunch of you in here. Okay. There's that. And here's this one. Oh, here's the Twitch. I think I get more people on Twitch just because I post that link second. I don't know if that matters, but there you have it. Okay, so weird thing here. This is 12 and this is 17, but the inside bit is the number was way out there. So that looks like a bug in Jigsaw. Some of the other stuff that we've seen, I'm not convinced are really bugs. It's probably just me. Like yesterday when my stop didn't go off, I think that might be because it was a stop limit, although I didn't see where it. I should have waited and see if the queue is changing, but I digress. Okay, so what happened? Well, yesterday was probably the tightest, ugliest range I've ever seen. There would have been a lot of opportunity if we had traded it right, but here you can see they just can't push the lows, so they came up and they broke the highs, but then they came over and they broke the lows by one tick, and then in the overnight session they came and they broke the highs by a little bit, and now they've come and they've broke the lows by a little bit. So this is not very good action in my opinion, but we have CPI today, so the forecast is 0.2 as always, where CPI is 0.1. So I'm gonna try and give a little bit better overview of what my game plan is, since people were asking about it. So if we get better than expected inflation, I am definitely going to sell it. I might even market sell it. If we get better than expected, or sorry, less than expected, so if it's 0.1, basically we're listening for the number. If they say 0.3, then I'm going to sell. If they say 0.1, I'm going to buy it. Now, I think right now, especially after all this noise, so the thing is, now we have to look at some bigger pictures here. So how are we positioned at the moment? Well, I think a couple of people may still be positioned long because this hasn't been completely washed out. In fact, we're still kind of like here on single prints, which was where we were stuck at, okay? So I'm gonna say there are still people positioned long. So if inflation is better than expected, I think we could get a really strong move. And where would that move go to? It would probably be, well, let's like do this. There we go. Okay. So we could get down to 30.5, maybe even 21. Well, that would be a really crazy move for one day. So let's not. But the first stop is 03. Okay. Put a pivot there. First stop is 03. So if we sell it short, that's where we're going. If we go long, there's 17.5. So basically the top of this range until we start running into washing out the shorts. So It seems to me that you could potentially, well, and then there's this much longer worked out trend. I don't know if that one matters, but so it seems like it could be more volatile if it's higher than expected. And the higher than expected is probably the less likely scenario, just given what the numbers have been. But I think you're probably going to get a decent move either way. But I also don't think that there's enough people positioned in this case. Seems like, especially since yesterday was so quiet, there's probably not a lot of people really in positions that are sitting there going to be defending them. So I think that whoever comes into the market off of this news is likely to be a lot bigger. Now, if we come in line with the expectations, I was thinking that we were going to have that we were more likely to move up, but that's not what I'm seeing on the DOM. I actually see some levels below us. So here's some big ones in ZB. Here's a big one in ZN. There's this one in ZF, although that one's just at the low. But these ones that aren't at the low, like this 12, this 06, those speak to me. So I think, again, you've got a better shot if we're going short. And if it's in line, we may go short. It looks, just based off of the DOM, I think that the current trend will continue. And right now we've been auctioning lower, even though it's super range bound and crappy and all that. So there you have it. So that's how I'm doing this news. And we are gonna pull up the live squawk, and I'm gonna eat here. So just watching this and seeing them break the lows here says to me that if that number is 0.3, I don't want to hit market sell. I'm going to have to probably try and wait for a pullback because there's going to be a lot of people taking profits off of the number. Okay. If we go to the upside, though, I think that it could be really volatile. But I don't think on this one I'm going to try a market order. I'm going to see if we can catch some spots instead. Okay, it's unchanged, so we may have people unwind. 0.2%. There you go. 0.2.
Average weekly earnings here, 0.3. That's really.
Okay. So I didn't really
breakdown. Equivalent 0.9, gasoline 1.7%, and
that's not good. A lot of the inflation is just from energy, sounds like. Let's see what other news headlines come through here on Twitter. I did say, okay, they could unwind. That was correct. They did it way too fast, and you know there was so little being offered there. I don't think I want to mess with that one. So I could have taken a long there, I guess, and gotten +4, but oh well. Now, that was not quite as much coming off as I would maybe have expected. Now I'm noticing this order here at 062 in ZF, which is about where we stopped. So now that people have unwound, the downtrend may continue. I'm not. So this is another, I see it happening, but I'm just not confident enough to click in. We really haven't seen that much volume go through. So this is not necessarily a trading action that would favor me. So I'm thinking maybe just let them establish a range. It could be between this 110 and the low, basically this 4 tick right here. Let's see if they try and absorb contracts at 09.5 and 09. Okay, 26 is a little bit. I think I'd really need to see like a 5 for it to really be like a big deal to me. Okay, 37. 5. Okay, so there's 5. Wow, they really hit it hard that time because it went from 37 to 5. Now 6. Here, because it's news, I'm not going to take it again. I would maybe wait for this 10 to get weak, and maybe I could hit the 10. I could hit the 10 and I could get out at 5. because I don't know this is the top of this range. So I guess the risk reward doesn't really make a lot of sense, because if we're wrong, we're going down to the lows. Yeah. Okay, so this price is balanced. So now the question is, can you get filled at 10.5? Okay, I guess you could have. So there would have been 2 in that for that. Now let's see if they start rejecting up here. Okay, well 500 went into 110, so that's not a good sign. Are they gonna hit 11.5? No, they did not. This seems really nerve-wracking to me. Okay, because I'm taking a range-bound trade here. Okay, didn't like that. Level 2 flipped. It was a pretty strong buy into the 11. Okay, that's a little better. It's been sitting here for a long time. Okay. Okay, they tried hitting in. They didn't get through here. Now the offer goes weak. They're not hitting through that though. Ugh. Man, this is why range bound trading sucks, because when you see these icebergs, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, they could go through that. They could not. It might be prudent to just get out at the +1. Okay. That was a good, okay tick down. And I like that we got some pulling here. And I like my spot. Okay, I'm not seeing people hit 10 though. Okay. You could spot it in the queue. There's not actually that many guys looking to get filled at 10.5. That went down to 6 at one point, and I'm 400. Yeah. Would only take like 500 to clear this. My guess. Seeing that? Hmm. That was a kind of a weird flip, but I don't think that was a lure. I think that happened because the ZF ticked up. Alright, well, we're wrong. Maybe I should have moved my order up a little sooner, but happens. Did you see those stops at 115 immediately trigger? No, I did not notice that. The only thing I'm noticing at the moment, oh gosh, is that this 11.5 appears to be balanced. Okay. Woo. Okay, we're going to take a break for a second. Yeah, so I'm still in range bound mode for sure. Like my thinking now at the moment is we had the news. It was in line with expectations. People would unwind. We saw that. There may still be some people left to unwind, which would push us up. But then we also appear to be forming a pretty solid range here. And we're at the bottom of that range. And so I think both of those things kind of say that a range bound trade buy here could be appropriate. But I'm just seeing too many people hitting 09 for me to feel comfortable taking that one. And there's an iceberg at 09.5. No thanks. Not seeing quite what I want yet. We need to see that, they go 08 half, nobody takes it sort of a thing. And even then, a range bound trade. A range bound trade at the low of the day is it's slightly different context that we have to read, and I don't like seeing icebergs around the low like that, There's too many people making bets both ways here. Alligator thinks this looks like a trend strength to me, enough time to buy on first pullback if it fails. Are you talking about a trend up or a trend down, though? I don't know. At the moment, I don't see a trend. At the moment, we are... Well, actually, take that back. Well, at the moment, we are within the range of the previous bar and the bar before that, and we stopped at the open of the bar previous at 12. So I'm trying to use that as a guide for whether or not we are range bound or not. So I'm still in range bound mode. I also don't see any of those sneaky, there's a trend about to start and I'm trying to accumulate before it happens sort of signals. What I'm seeing here is just a lot of potentially retail traders kind of jumping into something when we don't really know what's going to happen. We got icebergs on both sides of this. The orders that are coming in aren't very big ones. I think that it's best that we just stay out. Trudeau remains focused on defending Canadian jobs. Okay, they ticked down. 7 went through. Larry Kudlow suffered a mild heart attack. Oh no. I like him. Please don't die. We need to fix trade first before you can die, Larry. Okay. So there they just bought up and there's a level break absorption. So since we're still in range bound mode, I'm going to say 50-50% chance that we break the low. Now some absorption at 09. This would be an okay place to put a long. But if it ticks through us, then that would be really bad. So I'm going to say no. Sure enough, it ticks through it. They're trading it again at 08, half. Okay, so there's not a lot there. I really want to sell this, but I really think I should just not. Yeah, Tucker sees it too. Lows are starting to feel really weak. Well, there is the 5K at 08, but I mean, there's a lot of liquidity below us. And you can see that that liquidity has been there pretty much the whole time too. So I'm wondering now if this move down we had, that was people positioning. Some people took it off, but not all of them. And now they're going to try pushing it again. Yeah, the 8, I think that the 8 probably is going to pull. 08 evens. I think that could pull. But the liquidity has been there for a long time. And I think that that liquidity has been there because they're short and they were looking to, that's their targets. But they're not really hitting a weight half aggressively. I don't know. I mean, the lows definitely look weak to me as well. But I don't necessarily see this just rushing through here either. Okay, so there's the one hit. So if they take the 08 here really quickly, then I'm going to be really wrong. Yeah. No, too much absorption at 08. Okay. Curious. Okay, so what happened there I think was kind of more what I thought might happen. 5K did trade at 08. I don't know how much we'll trade at 07, but I think that any kind of long definitely has to be off the table at this point. But if I'm going to sell it, and I think that we really do have to sell it, I think that we want to get a bit more of a pullback. Because there is some supply here, and it's going to take some. It's going to take a bit to get through all this down here. Okay, so they had to sell 4,000 at 08 now. And they ticked back up and they put a strong bid on it. If I was looking for the range trade, that's it right there, is the buy 8 half. Well, really, you want '08, but let's just say you got filled there. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't take that one. It just did not extend enough, did it? Maybe a small pullback until the ES open. Okay, so a lot of absorbing at '08 half on the offer, and multiple attempts to clear. Failing to clear 3 times now. I don't know. I definitely see potential here to catch '08 to 10. That's the range I think I could pull out of this. And there's your fill right there at '08. You might not get it. But it's an awfully testy one, isn't it? Because there's an iceberg on the other side, and they've tried to clear that one several times and couldn't, and we're kind of in a dead zone. It's been okay. Well, we are in trending at this point. That candle, the close was lower than the previous bar's low, so we are in trend down. So based on that, I don't think I want to buy. I think I want to wait for a pullback. Well, and during this like down, big sellers were pretty aggressive. Every time a Berg wanted to buy, they sold market to smash it. A bit unusual, seems to be. Nothing special. Did he mean something special? Do agree that sellers were really aggressive there. In fact, I kind of what I've been saying, I think they were maybe a little too aggressive because there was some liquidity and profit taking down here. Okay, so that was a pretty big iceberg that they had at 08 half. They got through, weren't able to hold. Okay, now that was a little bit better for a short. Now that we have that iceberg, and the iceberg is pretty clearly one. If we can get filled here, I think it would be good, and it does look like that 07 half is still weak. So I think I can get 8 to 6 if I get filled, which is a big if right now, I think. And ZB has a big order here. Okay. Okay, ZB ticked up. ZF might tick up. Okay, ZF ticked up. Not a strong bid. Okay, a little better, but ZB ticked back down. I don't think I want to sell into that 7 half. I'm taking it off because if they come back up here, I don't like the look of this in ZB if it ticks back up. I think that it's probably just going to rush down through if it goes. And yeah, I don't know, just doesn't feel right to me. I think that I'm too late on that trade. ZB has made a new low in cumulative delta, by the way. What was that? All of a sudden this 07 half got really strong. Is that what happened? I saw a flash and I couldn't see what was going on. Okay, now this offer is bulking up. I don't know. I think this still favors the shorts. They're trying to make it look awfully scary, aren't they? Both of these have ticked up again, by the way. Okay, they did tick up. Pretty weak bid. Pretty weak bid there. Yeah. Well, that action makes me want to take it short now. I mean, that's been bid for a while, and the best they can do is 800. Are you kidding me? Oh, okay, they pushed it. They hit it right back when they took it down. Still, I think if they push it down, if somebody puts a big offer here, this is going for sure. Yeah, well, 1440 is a little better of a bid. So we just kind of have to wait it out and see. Okay, so there's ZB tick down. Didn't hold it. ZF is not. Is holding an okay bid. Okay, that's getting a little stronger now. Okay. So ZB ticked down, not a super strong offer. This is looking a little better. This whole setup is a little odd because normally you tend to see that it's just there's too many sellers that they overwhelm them, but what I'm seeing here more is that there are just nobody wants to buy this. Okay, that offer is getting really strong in ZB now. But ZF hasn't gone. They might have to do it all at once. Okay, some hits, buys, and ZB, they bought through that strong offer. Okay, they ticked it back down again. This still looks weak. This is weak and this is weak. It look weak, but the sellers aren't hitting it. Nothing is trading right now. Everybody wants it to run lower. Well, the only reason why I'm so focused on the level 2 right now is just that we're kind of waiting to see what it takes for them to entice people into it. So, from my perspective, if you want to sell, you would hit into 04 half, because your probability of getting filled at 04 3/4 is a lot harder, right? So for this to break, they really need to get this weak. So right now we have a better probability of it ticking down. That's good, and this 380 is good. If I see this really stack, this pulls, people start hitting into it, then I'm gonna hit out. But what I continue to see is these bids just look weak. But the sellers aren't taking it yet. Okay, so there was that good downtick that I was looking for. And they've got 2,000 on it. Yeah, if you want to sell, you're forced to sell dead low, which nobody wants to do. Everybody's waiting for somebody to dump 1,500 on 08 again, and they'll pile on. Yep. I agree. Oh, I fell asleep the first 6 hours today were like yesterday. Wow, you trade for a long time, KK. I wouldn't necessarily suggest trading for that long. I would just keep it to like the 3 most active hours of the day and then call it there. If you're scalping, I think that's enough for you to make a reasonable profit. Okay. So now they're mixed. I still see nobody buying in the 10-year. This offer looks pretty good. Okay, so there was a little bit of a hit. A little bit of buying now coming in. But this ZF is still bid at 04.5. So if we were really going to sell, they would need to sell through this, and they're not. Okay, they ticked up, they got the 24 there. So I'm thinking we still have a little bit. I think I can manage this by saying we still want to see what ZF does here, but we may have to bail. Buying looks a lot stronger than it did before, doesn't it? That's way too long. Okay, there's a hit, so I think we gotta just hold the boat. Why isn't it going? Yeah. I don't know. Well, is this exactly the spot where they're getting nervous? They're getting nervous, but I don't know. I don't view that particular tick up. Just not that much bought into it. I do still think that they're going to tick up, but I think that I should just hit out, right? Oh, hold on. Then they ticked down. I feel like I'm still holding out hope. That offer is not big enough. There's been a lot have hit into ZB. I guess one of the key things is it seems like ZB has been the one that's been trying to drive us down, and it looks to me like ZB still wants to go a little bit further. I'd say buyers still have a stronger position though. Yep, there's a pull. We only risked one, it's okay. So I would still say, I think that when you say like the sellers are getting nervous, um, obviously the guy like me that went for the level break, that the level break just didn't go again, did it? But I think for the longer term shorts, I don't think that they're too nervous yet. You know, if they break '09, then that's a little bit different. And even if they trade '09, there's still that chance that they just fall back into this range. So it's not a huge deal yet at the moment. E-mini looks pretty strong at the moment, doesn't it? Okay, well, getting out was good. We risked the one. I think that's okay. I mean, we had a good setup. If the '07 half had pulled, would have been a great trade, right? So I think it was worth the look. When the '07 half didn't pull though, maybe we should have pulled that off at break even. Yeah. I think that I give that particular trade a little bit too much room. When it comes down, it ticks down. That should pull. It should go. Yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, technically we're still in a downtrend, right? So what I'm looking for now is signs probably at 10. That's the price that I've been looking for. Because remember when I said maybe you could get 08 to 10, I think it was? At one point before we ticked down to the low, and the low was so weak, and then all of a sudden was like, oh yeah, that particular range bound trade probably isn't happening. But what how do I explain this? What I see here is there was liquidity, there was liquidity, there was liquidity, and particularly here in ZB, we came down into the liquidity. We actually went offer below it, but nobody else wanted to sell it, and now we're back up. And you can see it kind of here in the 5-year as well. We came down into it. This one, they actually pulled it lower, but then they came back up and the liquidity came back up. So it looks like we really hit some support down there. And when I bailed, maybe it would have been a good opportunity to reverse. But I would like to see if the buyers exhaust themselves here. You're definitely getting the buying in the 10-year, aren't you? They're buying in the 10-year, but not in the 30. This is some steepening. That actually speaks really well to some longs. And you know what? Look at where the knob... Hmm. They could totally just turn around and just destroy this, but it looks to me like there's just too much supply down here. If they, oh, interesting. If they get into this part of the profile here, you know, there's a good chance that they trade through it. And now I'm seeing support at 09. Look at that. I did not get filled. Very bullish right there, that tick. And that was weird because if I was a buyer, if I was a big buyer, why would I have made it tick up there? Because there was tons of people getting filled. There's tons of people getting filled there, and the longs had it, and then it ticked up. Why'd that happen? And I think that fact that we ticked up is extremely bullish. And unfortunately, I'm not so sure I can get a fill anywhere in here. Only 184 have sold into the 09.5. Was so close to getting a fill here at 09. And I mean, I should have been faster. The only concern in my mind is if I'm starting to get into I need to make a trade. I don't want to miss this sort of mode. I'm definitely feeling that. Like, oh no, I'm not gonna get filled, guys. Look at this. It's not gonna, well, okay, so there's 3,000 at 10. So that maybe this long here is not, oh my gosh. So they ticked up, they didn't take it. Oh, there you go. Actually, I like the way that one worked. They hit it, I got filled, they stacked. big deal. Let's see some 10.5, please. Okay, there's one. Okay, now they're over 2 here. The offers was weak for a moment. I think they're trying to squeeze them now. Yeah. Okay, so there just came some of the people puking. That is what I think that was. Okay, that uptick was okay. Okay. So I'm seeing that this bid in ZF is not super strong yet. Not super strong. Yeah. ZB is just kind of doing its thing. Okay, so there was a pretty good hit into 11. Okay, now this offer is looking weak and pulling. Good deal. I actually think I could get 12. Well, was kind of a critical point. Oh, 12 is like the last pivot. I think the 11.5 is the right spot. They might bust through this. It would be awfully weird to, well, not awfully weird. I guess it does happen all the time, but generally speaking, if they get one tick within the VWAP, they're gonna trade the VWAP, right? Okay, well, that's not good. Okay. I don't know if that just happened because they're trying to entice some buyers, or sorry, some sellers. Like, I don't know. I have to say, in ZB, it still looks like a good short. That one, I see KK actually took that one too. I don't know. The thing that I think made me more, oh my gosh, come on. Okay. I think the thing that makes me more confident about this particular trade was the place that the knob spread was at. I could see that it was at support and we were moving up, and the treasuries were moving up and the knob spread was moving up at the same time. And I think when you get that kind of a correlation coming along, I think that makes your long trade a lot better. But you can see ZB is fighting it. Problem with this is, look at the delta here. This is all buying. This is all buying. 30-year, not so much. So I suppose the 30-year could drag us down, but I think it's probably more likely that these ones continue to push up. Okay, so there's ZF ticked up and held it. Here's ZN ticks up. Not a super strong bid. Now they're trading this 11 couple of times now, I think, haven't they? Well, I guess it's the second time. It's the second time they've traded it. Here's ZF is holding it, but you can see ZB doesn't want to. Let's move this up to here. Oh no, that sucks. Maybe we should just take +2 on it if we can get it. Okay. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely sweating me out there, isn't it? Kind of from my perspective, we're not like in like super trend up mode. So to get +4 would be like a great trade. And we're hitting a balance area before that. So I think that it's better for me to just take it off at the +2 or the +3. And there I got +2. I think that I should be happy with that. Here I can see this one. Because I took 09.5, didn't I? Yeah. It's sad, really, that I didn't get filled at 9, right? You might be able to snag 09.5. Maybe. I'm not so sure about that one just because that's where I got filled and that was where they really started initiating. So if they get below that price, it doesn't look so great, does it? Oh my. Look at that. No, it's gonna go without me again. Oh, guys, range bound trading sucks. I don't know. That's awfully okay. There you go. There's some stops on that one too. If I had gotten filled at 10, that would have been a really good catch too. I could have gotten filled if I had just clicked, one tick earlier. Look at that. Oh, come on. Yep. Yep. It's a bowl steepener. Well, I should probably get rid of this, huh? That was really one where I should have just FOMO'd in. When I didn't get filled, I should have just bought the 10.5. Could have been +2 by now. Instead of having to wait to see if they can initiate above the VWAP. I think really on this trade, to get all the way up to 13, we're going to have to see them initiate above the VWAP at 12. The E-mini is looking a little weak. The E-mini takes another step lower than we really could see, but I don't see, at the moment, it looks like there's some support there. Okay, they ticked through it, but they didn't tick the 8650. Okay. Sitting right there. Take it. There you go. Okay, it did not affect the bonds when they did that. That would have been a spot where I think it should have affected us, and it didn't. So I don't think it's the mini correlation that's holding us back. KZF ticked down. Ticked back up. Not a strong bid, but we got some pulling there when that happened. I'm getting a little nervous because I'm seeing the possibility of the 5-year turning around on us here. And you can kind of see that there's been some selling volume in there. Okay. You know, it ticks up. This pulls a little bit, and a little bit of volume goes through, but yeah. A lot coming into this in ZB2. They're like all three of them are right at their VWAPs, aren't they? Yeah, ZF ticked up again. That hold looks a little bit more promising. ZB ticked up. ZN hasn't gone yet. That offer in ZF is just it looks weak, but then 437 have traded on it. It's not good. Or are they luring us here? Well, it ticked up and they didn't put a strong bid. Let's get that back up to 600. So really, ZN just has to tick up if this is going to go. So these two, they can get up there pretty easily, but you know they can only hold that for so long if people don't buy in ZN. And at the moment, you're really just not seeing enough people buying ZN to make us tick up, are we? There's an iceberg that you're always going to see at the VWAP, and they're not handling it too well, I think. There it is again. Okay. Seems like buyers liked what just happened there. They ticked down into 11 and there was an iceberg there that held. And then immediately the 5 years started pushing it up again. Well, okay, so now it's done it a second time. It's been taking too long. It's been 15 minutes, 12 minutes. Sad. So sad. How does that end up being 01? That is right. I made a cent. Well, if this stays range bound, we still have a decent range we could scalp, don't we? Although I would prefer to just let it fall back down here to maybe 09 and then maybe try taking it long again. Might not even give that, it may just go. Oh, how predictable. All of the news stories that I'm seeing on Reddit are about how Donald Trump lost the summit with Kim. Hmm. I don't even know if I'm going to take another trade today, to be honest. I feel like, like if we just look at these again, this first trade was actually really good. We could have gotten the +2 on it, and it was just a little bit early on it. This one, I think, was a good look, just didn't go, so that one's okay. This one we could have gotten. We could have gotten 11.5 if we had just left it in there. I think we probably would have gotten filled, right? So that one we screwed up by taking it off too early. This one, well, it's a 0. I don't know if I actually should have taken that one or not, but considering how this could have gone, I actually think I'm doing pretty good today. But obviously, I missed the best opportunities, right? Because I could have sold it at 11.5 here the first time, and we probably could have bought. I mean, I don't. When we were down here, there was still some possibility that it was going to go down, but we could have bought it at like 09. That would have been a much better trade because then we could have taken it off at 11, right? And we almost got filled at 09, by the way. So that sucks, but that's just what happens. So, like, considering how range bound it was, I think we did pretty good. I mean, we're doing a lot better for sure. I would really like to have at least a tick to show for it. Somebody gave Trump money for this, likely the 500 million from China. He's there to bleed the US dry for him and his family. F everything else. And that's what this guy thinks about the North Korea summit. That particular person, I think, is not thinking straight. And his sycophants are screaming victory and heaping praise. So they're really upset that everybody's happy that they had a meeting. Kind of interesting the way people are reacting to that news story. And I'm sure a lot of the people on the desks are probably thinking some of the same things. I feel like, if we could look back at this action here again. Okay, here was the news. Okay, we had an unwinding. And then resumption of the previous trend. Hit into support. Unwind. Now at this point, what is the incentive to take a trade? You know what I mean? Feel like probably the guys at the desks are doing what I'm doing and reading about North Korea. And E-mini is, as I said, as I predicted, pretty much just the meat grinder so far for the first 30 minutes of it. They haven't moved. Yeah, they're awfully mad about it. Okay, that bid looks weak now. We're still in like just pullback territory for ZB. It's as far as like trend up, pullback 4 ticks. That's all we've gotten so far. Trump is considering awarding the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Dennis Rodman. What timeline is this, guys? Pretty funny. We should check the comments. ETC going on Coinbase. Oh, hey. Have you already thought about trading that is not your business and maybe you're not a dumb trader? Well, I'm willing to sit and go through it as long as it takes because I enjoy it. It doesn't matter. Really, frankly. But I feel like I'm really good in trending action, and I think that's really something that we can utilize and leverage. And it sucks that this isn't my kind of action right now. But if you can imagine, maybe if I had started a couple of years earlier, I would have done really, really well, right? So I'm not going to let the difficulties that I've been having for the past, what, 2.5 months now, really stop me or anything. You know what I mean? We're just going to keep at it and work at it until we're better at these ranges. And I don't feel like what we did today was too bad. Yeah, Uzi Knesset says everybody has their bad days. Yeah, but I've been having a bad 2.5 months. We're not, you can go back and you can look at all of the videos. So, we're not going to cut any, hold anything back, or we're going to be honest about what the performance has been. It has been pretty bad since about April, really. And when we had those big spikes up, I was able to take advantage and get a little bit out of it, but then the rest of the time it's pretty bad. And often what's happened, like yesterday, for instance, I had 3 bad trades and that's where I would have stopped, and it would have been like a -4 days. But then I I continue to try and work on it, to try and get the experience, and then it just keeps going worse and worse. So yeah, oh bro, I've had bad years. There you go. Yeah, exactly. But but going back, there is something that I'm good at, and I'm pretty good at it with the trending action, right? We were looking at it yesterday, like how had I done on previous CPIs and PPIs, and when you look at between the 2 days, it was like in January I didn't get anything out of it, but then in February I got like 20 ticks out of the 2 days, and then I got 16 ticks out of March, I think, and then April was kind of a wash. Yep, you ain't failed until you quit. There you go. But I mean, I couldn't work on that. And when you look at like my overall performance, even if you consider the trades that I'm taking that are just for practice and are beyond my daily limit that I'm taking, I'm still actually profitable on the year. So, we have something good. Let's not let the range bound action discourage us, because we're getting better at trading the range bound action. I thought we did okay today. I'm starting to see the trades more and more. I think that we can overcome that. Yeah, you're not a bad trader, but you're working with extremely small risk. That's a good point too. If I were to swing, probably would have had a couple of really good trades, huh? So yesterday, that one that was yesterday was really funny, right? Because I said before I left, I said, okay, well, the balance area appears to be, when did I leave? 8. It was around here. I was like, here's the balance area. No, that wasn't it. Where am I getting this wrong at? Was that yesterday? Oh, that's way too far. here yesterday. Okay, here we go. I said, I think we were at, yes, 13.5. I said, okay, buy it at 13.5. My target is 16 and my stop is 11. And I don't know if the stop would have stopped me out because I used the one with like the level 2. So I don't know if it would have stopped me out. The fact that it only ticked it once says to me that actually maybe it wouldn't have stopped me out and I would have gotten it. But then it went lower in the overnight session. And it didn't actually go up and get my target until after the session break, so which I don't like. You know, and I did another one where I said that, and I think I came back the next day and I just took a really small profit on it, but then after the news it went. So yeah, I think I could have made some good trades if I could swing. I don't know if long term how profitable it would be, but you know, there's enough evidence there to see that if I had the risk, it would be worth trying. Yeah, pros love range days, the retail love trends, but the markets are 80% of the time in the range. Well, I don't know about 80% of the time. It depends on what you define as a range or a trend, right? Because if you say that a trend day, yeah, trend days only happen 10 to 20% of the time, for sure. But most days, like today, are going to have some sort of distribution in them. Here today, it was between this 08 and that 10. And if that's more than 4, that's enough for me to catch a trend if I need, you know. But obviously it's been hard today. I found that getting swings out of treasuries to be too difficult when I was first learning them. I caved to the one tick style, 1 trade a day, 1 tick, 6 contracts on the 30-year, and that's it. Wow, and that works for you? That's pretty cool. I mean, I feel like I could maybe well, like if I pull this up, you know, this one, MAV 2, that could have been a 1 tick trade. That could have been a 1 tick trade. So if I like really reduced my risk and was just only looking for 1 to 2 ticks, I think that probably could do that. And that's kind of what I am kind of looking like. This first one, I was only looking for 2 on that one. So I am kind of caving to the range bound trading style, but I feel like it's going to be like, you know, we can catch a range day and we can get maybe 2 to 4 on a range day, and then when it trends, you know, then we do what we're good at. I mean, I lose sometimes too, but I make 1 real trade and win or lose and spend the rest of the day practicing finding that moment. That's interesting. And do you know what your win percentage is on taking that one tick trade? So one of the things that concerns me about the 1 tick trade is that I feel like I would have to be right like 70 or 80% of the time. And I don't know if I would actually hit that or not. Is there anybody talking in chat? Oh, and I see Charles. How's it going? I don't know if you're still there. One of my friends. It looks like he found me on Twitch. That's great to see you. You know, if we when we finish the yard, we'll have a party. You should come. I'm assuming that's the guy I think it is. It's Slim Charles, but yeah, anyways, I think it's him. I don't think he's still there on Twitch watching though. If you are, say something else. Sorry, I haven't been watching the YouTube and the Twitch chats as much lately because we've been trying to focus, I guess. Well, this has been a pretty solid bubble down move, hasn't it? Could have, I mean, we could have shorted it way back there when we got out, but I don't know if... So I was watching a video with John Grady and he was talking about, you know, bubble up, bubble down moves where, you know, there's like an iceberg and they just continually push through it and it's just super slow the whole way. And it sounded to me like he just really hated that action and that he felt it was better to just stay out of it. But I've had a lot of success on those moves because those can be really strong moves. Now something else I'm seeing is this change in cumulative delta in ZN. And that was a good tick up. Only 2 into 10. But there was a buy in ZN. There was, I mean, they've kind of come back in ZF. They haven't hit 05 half for us to really tell what the difference here is. I wish I'm still not going to take a trade because we only got really 7 minutes and then I want to be leaving. But I do wish that I had seen what had happened to R9 to see if there was a signal. Okay, so what's the number it's giving us? 111 at 68.75. Okay. 111. Yeah, I guess for Swisso, what he was saying, this another six. Okay, Uzi says he gets a 66% win rate. This week and last week have been particularly good though. Haven't taken a hit in 7 trading days, so I'm taking my fingers crossed till they break. Wow. So where would be, what kind of spot do you try and take the one tick out of? Do you take it at a reversal spot of sorts? Or do you find a place where it looks exceptionally balanced and you just happen to get a good fill? Because when I'm thinking the one tick one, that's like, say we're trading around this 10 half, which is what we've done, and I just happen to be able to get this 10, then I can take it off at 10 half because that's really likely to, actually, I think I want to try that one actually. Because you have a pretty good chance of getting filled there. And then if you do get it, you can just let it ride. But anyways, what I was going to say to Swisso was that, the one thing is that my cryptocurrency strategy works really, really well, like scary well. And for something that's that volatile and to be able to call tops and bottoms is super powerful. And I've made a decent amount of money doing that. So from my perspective, it's kind of like I can make money doing that and I have a regular job. And, I can continue to just try and get good at treasuries. And someday, after a couple of years, I think I'll be able to figure it out and do it. And until then, you guys get to watch me fail and laugh about it. So. Okay, let's post these charts. Come on, you can do it. I know you guys want to buy 10.5. There you go. That's my one tick trade. Did that make sense? I knew that this 10.5 was a balance area before. It's the highest spot in the profile. I had an easy fill going at 10. I had an uptrend. The probability of me being able to get filled at 10 and then get filled at 10.5 is extremely high. So I take one tick. Now with that one, I really like what you say there, Uzi, about like, oh wait, let's read what you said here. You had a couple more comments. I very rarely jump in the market, but I've found my comfort zone to be in the delta. Like today, for example, I sold ZB limit entry at 142.21 after spiking, buying, and failing to punch the price out 15 seconds later at 142.20. And where was 20? Uh-huh. Yes, I see exactly that spot that you're talking about. You're saying, here was the unwind. They pushed down and then they made another push up. And this was the one I took it here. You waited and you took it here, which was the one where I said that I wish I had taken. And then you only took the one. But if you had held it, you probably could have gotten a lot more than that. But you're only willing to take +1. That's interesting. And you are taking it more on an extreme sorts. After like a spike in buying and failing to punch the price. Which is the way that most of our other range-bound traders do it, and the way that I'm trying to do it. But I mean, if you're hitting 66%, I'm paranoid, my friend. What you should do, here's what my suggestion. Granted, I'm not an amazing trader, but I think it's really helpful to always just be having something in the back of your mind that you're testing, you know? So you could say, start tracking it on a piece of paper and just say, what if I was trying to get +2? How much would that affect my win-loss ratio? You might find, especially the place that you're trading and the fact that you're trading ZB, I think there's actually probably a good chance that you could actually take 2 without much hit at all in your win rate. If that's the spot you're really taking. But the thing that I find really impressive is that you only take 1 trade a day and that you're that selective. Because if you're going to take with the 1 tick trade, you really need the good win rate. And so that's an interesting, but I think it sounds like it's an effective way of trading it. And another thing I want to point out is I had a friend, I met him in John Bottomley trading room, and he'll just take 2 ticks. And he'll do it twice a day. He gets the 4 ticks, and that's his take for the day. And he trades it based off of, he uses, oh, it's really weird, but he has volume bars, and then he has a couple of he has a couple of like moving averages and things like that. And so he'll kind of do what I do, where, you know, he sees that it's just, you know, there's the momentum is there and that it's extremely likely to move 2 ticks. And then he takes the 2 ticks and he has like a crazy good win rate on it. But his problem is, I think, that he's a little bit too scared. So yeah, because there's lots of those where he only takes +2 and he could have gotten a lot more on him. And then, sorry about the 1 tick trader does not survive. How do you do that with stops? Well, if you could take one tick, when I do the one tick, like that one that I just taken, or did I take? I took it at 9.5, right? Oh no, I took it at 10. So if it ticked down and it was 9.5, 10, I'm probably trying to get out at 10 and possibly just trading out so that I'm taking a -1, because you're right. You could handle a -2 if you still have like a 70-80% win rate, but then once you get past that, it starts to get ugly. And you can take one ticks and you can definitely stay in the game and you can definitely make money, but like the commissions are going to take out so much of your profit. So it's tough. But I mean, if you're just doing it as a hobby, then sure, why not? I guess. But I don't know. I think that if there's a spot where you can get one tick and you have you've forward tested it enough to know that it has a long-term edge, then you should take it. I get in on a limit order with a 3-tick emergency stop. I watch the volume hit on the other side of my trade. If it ticks against me one tick, I bail. If it didn't move fast enough, I scratch it. Yeah, sounds like he's handling the risk well. And how long have you been doing that for? That's another critical question, right? Is the ETC really going to go on Coinbase? Because it's kind of looking like it's in a spot that you could potentially try and catch a bounce off of that if that's really what's happening. Pivx is in a spot now. Vertcoin is still overbought. I just really don't like Vertcoin. I don't know why, but the chart just always looks bad. Or Verge is overdone. Verge is going to come down more. That's interesting. Can take this here. Okay, so that's posted. We just got to leave here in a couple minutes, but I'm just gonna check. Oh, let's move that. Okay. I was trading spot forex for years, and after FXCM got put out of the US, I switched to futures. After getting my ass hammered in currency futures, I moved to Treasuries about a year and a half ago. Okay, that's really interesting. And how do you deal with when they become volatile? Getting 1 or 2 ticks a day consistently on the ZB. I take days off. I first check the calendar for any big news, monitor the market till about 8:30 to 9 a.m. Eastern Time. If it's hard to tell if the market is a little too cozy to play, if I get caught in a sweep, I lose 2 to 3 ticks. If I'm not quick enough, it is what it is, but given my paranoid nature, I know I'm pretty good at knowing when to just play with the dogs for the day. Well, so if you've been doing this for a year and it continues to work, then that sounds like that's enough. That would be enough for me to continue going with it. I cannot imagine that it works that way. Well, I know that you can pull that off for sure, because when I was testing 1 tick trades, I have a 1 tick trade that I would do in ZB. I will explain it to you here. If you come up to a spot and the level 2 is roughly equal, and it's unusual for the level 2 to be fairly equal, so it would really need to be like 300 by 300 in ZB, then there's a really good probability that you're going to get filled on both sides. And what I will do is I will use these balance areas. So remember, when I see, like, if this was 50 and it traded back and forth across this is a balance area, and I put an I next to it like that. Okay, so I always want to buy against that, so that would mean I could buy 22 and sell 23. And then I would also want to see the trend in my direction. So we're trending up right now, so I could buy 22 and sell 23. And that's my 1 tick trade. So I tested that one. And I tested it for like 20 or 30 trades. And it had an 80% win rate. And when I lost, I only lost 1 to 2 ticks. But that's probably not enough testing on the negative side. I would need to see it fail like 20 times. But to do that, you'd have to see it succeed 100 times, which would take a long time. And the reason why I stopped looking at it or testing it is because it didn't happen every day. It kind of stopped giving me the right setup. Like, you'll still see it where the level 2 is balanced, but it just like wasn't meeting the qualifications. And so I just kind of gave up looking for it. Right? But treasuries are so slow. You really can do a trade where it's 1 tick risk, 1 tick reward. And if you have a high enough win percentage with it, you can be profitable with it. It's not very profitable, but you can do it. And I'm sure that a lot of these big guys really are only making, on some of these points, are making money off of literally just 1 or 2 ticks. I don't think that they're taking every swing, the whole swings. They did come up there to 115. Yeah. Oh, why doesn't KK have our regular role, by the way? He's been around here for a while. We should let him post pictures. There we go. I'm really happy with how I did today. I felt like, because the problem has been one, realizing when we're in ranging action, and then two, sticking to the game plan when we're in ranging action. And I think on this one, I was able to recognize almost immediately that because the news came in line with expectations that we were going to be fairly range bound, and I was able to trade that effectively, so that even though I did take one that was a look at a shot lower, I wasn't sitting there looking for like a super crazy move. And so I realized that it was range bound, and I generally stuck to the range bound trading, and because of that, I was able to come out with a +1 after 4 trades. You're gonna get stuck in trades sometimes. You gotta have outsized winners to balance it out. Well, yeah, if you take a 1-tick trade, though, you can't really afford to ever let it see. If I saw ZB climbing from 12, why didn't I get a board? I don't know. I didn't see it climbing from 12, though. I saw it climbing from whereabouts was I seeing it? When we were at 09, so I was seeing it more like around 17. Oh, I was seeing maybe ZB where you could take 17 to 20. Now that they're above the VWAP, I'm actually a little surprised. But it had more to do with the time frame. It was like 8:27, and I've decided recently that I just tend to screw myself over when I try and take trades after 8:30, because 8:45 is about the time that I want to stop streaming. So yeah, some of these big guys are trading 500,000 lots at a time, so they're not taking 3-tick stops and are quite happy getting a tick here and there. Yeah, exactly. Uzi, you learned things the hard way. Okay. I would really like to take the John Grady the webinar, but I would have to take 2 weeks off of work to really do that and take advantage of it. So in the end, you pay more to the broker than you earn. Well, it won't be more to the broker, but the broker is going to be taking like half of your earnings, right? Not half. He's going to be taking 20% of what you make, right? Because it's $350 round turn. You make $15 a tick, so that's 20% is going to go to commissions. And then if you're hitting 60%, so it's really more like double that. It's more like 40% of your profits, right? But here's the thing, guys, and here's something that I kind of want to get across to people from doing these videos, is that to day trade, you don't have to be this rock star that gets 8 ticks every day and is swinging 5 lots and does it for a living. I really think that you can come in and you can be somebody that, is just kind of profitable. Maybe on average, you only end up making a tick a day and after commissions, and that's okay. As long as, like we were talking about earlier, you stay in the game, right? That's what really matters. And that you enjoy it, obviously. And then, you put yourself in that position, you can continue to get good. And then who knows, maybe one day you get lucky, or you just consistently work at it. And after a long time, you do eventually get to that point, But you don't have to shoot for the moon right at the beginning. I think that doing what you're doing is really great. The only thing I would say is, always have something testing to see if you can improve it. Like if you can get 2 ticks, then in certain situations, and you test it and you know that it's reliable, then start taking 2 ticks in some situations or whatever it is. Anyways, I feel like I'm just blabbing now, so I am going to head out, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh yeah, another thing, for those of you guys in YouTube, if you haven't checked out the Discord, I'd highly recommend checking out the Discord, because we'd love to see this conversation continue over there. So, all right, I will talk to you.